people who work in IT, what's the wildest thing you've discovered or had to do while at work? Back when I first started ages ago, a woman called in and said, "My mouse isn't working." I asked her if it was wired or wireless. "I don't know. Why would I know that?" "What do you mean? Is it wired or not? Is there a wire on it?" I said, "I don't know. This isn't my job to know, it's yours." So I asked her if she picked it up and walked away, how far would she get? I was the one that got in trouble. Drove to an office for emergency on-call service, charging the client $400 plus an hour to plug the power back into a switch, which their cleaning staff had knocked loose. People on the outside looking in, so to speak, laugh at this idea, but this is actually what IT people do 98% of the time. It's easy effing money to charge $120 just to turn a printer back on after a ticket that says, "My printer won't work." Me, "Are you sure the server is turned on?" Them, "Yes, 100% certain. The server has something wrong with it." Me, drives 2 hours to site. Me, turns on server that is clearly not turned on. Got called to investigate a laptop that had viruses detected on it. When I arrived, this laptop wasn't open with the login information taped to the desk. This laptop was given local admin privileges by someone before my time for some application. This was in an office area that was always unlocked and 10 steps from the entrance of the building. No one was in the office as they went home early, including management. On a laptop filled with everyone's information, social security numbers, names, addresses, and more, LimeWire, games, pornography, and more. The two who worked on this laptop just used it like their personal laptop, with occasional work being done on it. The laptop was promptly disconnected from the network, confiscated, and returned for analysis. Yes, there was spyware, and we don't know how much personal info got out. This was reported to higher management. The two who used it disappeared quickly and quietly after that. An outgoing software dev put an Easter egg in our ERP before he left. Anyone who typed the word raptor in any text field would have a raptor from Jurassic Park fly across their screen with a loud screech. Only 3 of us on the team knew about it. A little over a year later, during a demo of our asset management module, a manager asked about inputting vehicles. The trainer asked what kind of vehicle he drove. An F-150 Raptor. So the trainer, as a demo, input the vehicle description and bam! Roar comes screeching with this Raptor flying across the screen in a room full of 50 to 60 people, including our CBO and most of our upper managers. My wife is one of those upper managers, so she sees me in the back of the room trying so hard not to laugh. She gives me this look like, "Really?" Our boss just calmly said, "Well, that's not a bug or a feature. Looks like we'll need to fix that." He had no idea. The next day we went back through the commits and saw where it originated. During an after-action meeting, he kept it low-key and just assigned it to me, and this other dev who knew about it, to take it out. He finished by saying, "And please don't put Easter eggs in our code." My husband does not work in IT, but he should. He worked on a facilities team at an expensive private school, and one day got a ticket to remove/trash a 75-inch TV. He approached the head of the IT department, asking why he needed to trash it when he had just installed it brand new. The head of IT told him it won't stop shutting off. My husband loaded it into the work van and dropped it off at our house instead. He came home, plugged it in, and turned off the 10-minute automatic power off timer. We got a fancy TV for free. My colleague got a call from a customer who was a pastor, as he needed help with his computer. It was a weekend, and my colleague knew his machine name, so he remotely logged into it, as he in parallel started calling him. Screen loads, and it's playing lesbian porn on his work computer, in the church. Needless to say, it was awkward as the pastor answered the call a few seconds later. Could have been worse. Got paged one night because of a data outage. Turns out, one of our on-call response folks went into the server room, locked themselves in, and unplugged several machines. This caused several data outages, which caused a page, and thus someone driving in to resolve it. This was a major military mission critical system, and this guy thought the best way to get someone's attention was to break a bunch of stuff. I mean, it worked? Received a call from the FBI's cybercrime division. Said be at a conference room at one of my healthcare clients in an hour. Got my team together and showed up. was informed that a large medical practice that used our software had been infiltrated by a hacker that had posted a video of himself on some dark site walking around their large office, 500,000 square feet, and bragging about his expertise and claiming to own our network. They played us the video. He was employed there as the night security guard. We quickly saw that he did not gain access to our net. They informed us that he had given his notice and his last day would be Thursday. He's posted a bunch of threats to the dark site about what would happen that next holiday weekend after he was gone. It did turn out that he had gained access to our network of the surgery center in the same building, and he has used that access to remotely disable the HVAC system for hours at a time during surgical procedures. On his last day, the FBI rolled up at night, waited for the older security guard to leave the building to patrol the parking garage, then knocked out all power and lights to the big building, locked all the doors, pulled up in about 8 black vans. About 30 guys with submachine guns jump out, sweep the building, arrest him, and quickly leave. We were counseled to shut down the network for a week, in case he had planted time bombs to be triggered near the 4th of July. We did. Turns out he had a young wife and 2 kids. Was offered a plea deal for 3 years in prison. Decided to go to trial. I was a witness. He was sentenced to 11 years. A twist. The pastor at his church testified as a character witness, said he had never had an issue with him. Turns out the FBI had hacked the church computers with the warrant and found that he had been fired as the IT guy at the church. Pastor was charged with perjury and sentenced to prison too. As a consultant software dev, I got called into a client office on a Saturday to help fix a hardware issue because the regular IT staff was non-responsive. They sucked. We were changing a bad memory card on a server, and my boss asked me to unplug the top box. I was averaging about 90 hours a week, so I was effing cooked, and I unplugged the wrong machine. This was a travel agency call center doing 1 mil a day, and this machine was in the call center server stack. We freaked out, of course, and my boss walked out onto the call center floor, quietly asking if everything was running okay, LOL. Luckily, it was a benign marketing server, and everything was okay. Lesson learned, don't let the software dev in the server room. Not wild, but ridiculous. I drove 40 minutes away to look at a client's computer, who said the PC was not responsive. When I arrived, he said, "Look," and pressed a key on the number pad. Nothing happened. I pressed numlock and drove 40 minutes back. A week later, the same customer said his computer was miscalculating formula amounts, so I drove there again. He says, "Look, I type in that I want a pint, and it prints out a formula for 16 ounces. After giving him an elementary math lesson, I drove 40 minutes back again and requested that he have his computer taken away.